Yo, if you want 2026 to be the best year of your entire life, you need to watch this video all the way to the end because I'm going to break down the systems and steps for you to follow in order to make sure that you have the best year ever, right? Now, obviously you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your habits. If you've never heard that before, there it's your first time hearing it. It's the first time for everything, right? So the first thing you need to do going into 2026 is you need to have one clear direction, right? Now you need to have one main goal, and as well as know that that goal is achievable, believe that that goal is achievable, right? And as well as not have no distraction, right? Whatever it is that you want to achieve the entire year of 2026, you need to write that goal down, right? And it needs to be one goal. Now, obviously, if someone came up to you and asked you, "Hey, what's 10 goals that you have to achieve? What's 10 goals that you want to achieve?" And you write down all those 10 goals, and they said if you had to only pick one to make happen, that's your goal. You need to be focusing on going into 2026, right? No distractions. You need to be focusing just on that goal because more of the story is that once you achieve that one goal, each and every other one of those other goals can be achievable just because of that one being achieved, right? So that's that. Have one goal, no distraction. Secondly, you need to build a habit system, right? Waking up on time, same work blocks every day. Now, a lot of people, they quit their 9 to 5 jobs and they become very lazy in their business or whatever is it that they're doing to make money outside of work for someone. They become lazy and they start putting in less hours or putting in the same hours as they were putting when they were working a 9 to 5 job. If that was the case, you could have just stayed working a job, right? Knowing now I'm only doing the bare minimum. But yeah, you want to have the same work blocks. And I'm speaking this from experience. Like me, when I first quit my 9 to 5 job, the first couple months I was going all in, crazy, heavy, like, going all in with what I was doing. And then eventually I slowed down because obviously the success slowed down because once you're putting in, the psychology of human, how it works is the more input you put in, you expect to get similar output. Whether, it's okay, I got to lock in for 3 weeks and then, I'm going to get the benefits in 3 weeks. Right, but if you have been locking in, then the benefit starts to decrease, your work ethic starts to decrease because there's really no point. Or you get into that mindset that there's no point, but now you gotta stay disciplined, have a system, wake up on time, and then same work blocks every day despite the outputs that you get, right? And then the third thing is remove weaknesses. So dopamine addiction, such as watching movies. You don't want to just sit. Like, why would you want to sit and watch a movie? Like, what value are you getting from that movie, right? I would say replace those dopamine addictions. For instance, watching movie to watching podcasts with like multimillionaires talking about their life and their history and what they did in the past, or like setbacks that they face and how they overcame those setbacks. Like, you want to watch or listen to podcasts, right? That's something that you can replace. Like, no going out partying, no smoking, drinking, none of that. All of that, what it's doing is just putting you in a state of mind to vibrate in a low frequency. And then when you're vibrating in a low frequency, you reap low frequency rewards, right? You don't really achieve anything because you get put in a mindset. You're not disciplined, honestly, right? You vibrate in the low mindset, and a low frequency person is not disciplined, right? So cut out all the distractions. And fourth, track your progress. Weekly check-ins, and you wanna adjust, right? Don't just quit, right? Let's say, for instance, a lot of people. I'm gonna say this. A lot of people, they go into a state of, if this only applies to someone that is addicted to something, right? If, let's say, for instance, you've been smoking weed for 20 years, you're not just gonna stop one day because you're gonna go back to doing those habits, right? So just adjust. Go from, say, doing it 3 times a day to doing it like twice a week, or doing it 3 times a week, right? And then slowly take yourself off the addiction, right? Now, the weekly check-ins that I talk about, tracking progress, that's tracking progress. First one is tracking progress towards getting off the addiction. Is like, okay, you have a 6 months goal to stop the addiction completely within 6 months, right? Normally, you can just stop the harsh stop, but the thing is, you're gonna relapse, and if you're not in a mindset of getting back, like, messing up and getting right back on track, then you're just going to, be in a loop of doing what you're not supposed to be doing and going back and forth. You're just gonna be in a loop, and that's not good, right? Weekly check-ins with like your progress to achieving your goal. Let's say your goal is you want to make $1 million, all right? That's a very generic goal. Let's say your goal is, okay, you wanna let's just say you want to make $1 million. To make $1 million, you need to sell a product that's $500 2,000 times, or a product that is $2,000 500 times. That's just an example, right? I know the math because obviously I've done $1 million. I just know the math. Any millionaire knows the math. Anybody who has done $1 million, or anybody who knows money math knows, in order for you to make $1 million, you need to sell some that either costs 2,500 times or $500 2,000 times, right? So it's a lower mid ticket, and even a lower ticket, you just got to keep removing the zero and adding it to the other. So if you want to sell a product that costs $5,000, you have to sell it, that's 200 times, right? So yeah, if you wanna $10,000 100 times, right, to make $1 million. Or you can do the opposite, the other way, right? A low ticket was just really 50. You have to sell a product that costs $50, like is it 100,000 times? Not 10,000 times, right? So all of these numbers, you need to track the progress. Okay, all right, I want to make $1 million by the end of the year. Or I would say your goal should be aiming to make $1 million in the beginning of the year, make $1 million before Q4 starts. So technically you have 9 months, because that's a realistic way to make your goal. Just because if you say, I have 365 days, you're not going to achieve it, right? Even sometimes I would say you want to make $1 million in 6 months. Shorten the time so you can double your work ethic to reach that goal. So even if you fall short, you're $500,000 and you still have half of the year to go and achieve that goal. So you want to track those progresses, whatever goal, whether it's a financial goals, fitness goals, whatever type of goals that you have. Relationship goals, maybe you want to get in a point where you're somewhat comfortable with your partner to maybe propose. Whatever it is, track those little progress, weekly progress. Right? Actually sit down for 30 minutes, an hour a week, Sundays, and look back at previous 7 days and see, okay, what have I done to have a habit tracker. That's another thing that really helps, and I'm actually implementing that for myself. Right? Anything that you have to do on a daily basis, have a habit tracker. Whenever you do it, at the end of the day, just go look and check every single thing that you did and everything that you didn't do, and then it will have a graph that shows you, like, if you're on track to achieving that goal that you have for the end of the month, for the end of the year. Right? So that's another thing. If you guys want me to send you mine, just comments, habit, and I'm gonna put the link in the description, or just DM me habit on Instagram, and then I got you. I'll send you the one that I'm currently using. And you want to lock the identity of who you are now. So obviously there's a saying that before you go to sleep at night, you have to first pretend as if you're asleep, right? And then eventually you just fall asleep. So if you want to become successful in any way, shape, or form, any category, whether that's finance, health, relationship, whatever, you have to first act as if you are already that thing, right? Or as if you have already achieved that thing, and eventually it's just gonna come, right? So that's you locking in the identity. You're asking yourself, okay, let's say your goal is you want to become a millionaire. You're asking yourself, how does what would a millionaire be doing at this time? And you're doing those things, right? Or what would a successful husband be doing at this time? Oh, okay, you think in that aspect, whatever goal. Remember, I told you guys, have one goal, because have one goal that prioritizes over all the other goals that you have, right? And one thing that science has studied and shown is that whenever you do achieve that one goal, 9 times out of 10, every other goal that's around is gonna be pretty much be achieved, or make it easier to be achieved, right? So Yeah, so if you gotta lock yourself in that new identity in order to achieve that. So that's really how you do it. These are obviously the things that you need to do next year if you want to have the best year ever, right? Have one goal, have a habit system, remove all the weaknesses and dopamine, and then track your progress and lock in a new identity, living as if you're already that person or who has achieved that goal. And sooner than you know it, you're gonna achieve that goal. But with that being said, if you watched this all the way to the end, appreciate you for doing that. Drop a like, right? Comments, drop a comments to help the algorithm, right? Share this video with a friend if you found it helpful in any way, shape, or form. You know, ignore the little filler words that I'm using right now. I'm working on my speech, believe it or not, but you guys are going to be able to see the progress throughout next year, right? By this time next year, I'm going to be able to just speak without using any filler words. And you guys are going to like how that sounds, obviously, right? Well, it's a personal goal for me. So with that being said, man, appreciate y'all watching this. Remember, see you guys at the top because the bottom is way too crowded. Peace.